I find as a choral conductor, sometimes I and my colleagues are not all that sure about what the actual vocal instrument looks like. We may have models and we have books to look at, but not very often do we get to actually see the vocal folds themselves. So I decided it would be fun if we all took a trip to Baylor All Saints Medical Center in Fort Worth to the vocalist. And her name is Amy Hamilton. Hi, Amy.
Hello.
And what is a vocalist?
I am a speech-language pathologist specialized in assessing and treating voice disorders.
She's not saying I have a voice disorder. Well, we're about to find out. But nonetheless, we're going to see my vocal folds. And how will that happen?
We're going to do a video stroboscopy exam to take a closer look at your vocal folds. It has a strobe light, not unlike the strobe light used in the disco era, to give us the appearance of the vocal folds vibrating. If we look at your vocal folds vibrating through the naked eye, it looks like they're staying still because they're vibrating so quickly.
Great. Let's go.
Okay. There's a flat electrode microphone to communicate with the stroboscopy light how many times per second your vocal folds are vibrating. I'm just going to have you lean forward. Stick your tongue out at me. Okay. And let me get in. Okay, go ahead and say E. Good. Try it again. And again. Good. Go to a speaking pitch. Good. I want you to really smile and bite down on the scope and think E. Good. Do that again. And again, hold out a long time. Good. I'm actually going to come on out.
Well, now that Amy has her endoscope out of my mouth, she's going to explain to us what we were seeing and what the parts are.
Okay, this is the view as if we're walking to the back of your tongue and peering down your throat. These are your vocal folds. They're two white bands of tissue that sit like a V on top of your trachea, which goes down to your lungs. So when your vocal folds are wide open, the air just goes in and out as you breathe. And when they come together, they vibrate and that produces your voice. These are your arytenoids. They open and close your vocal folds. This is the epiglottis. It covers the larynx as you eat and drink so that you don't cough or choke. The vocal folds should be a pearly white color, and we want to see nice smooth edges so that when they come together to vibrate, we create a complete closure.
Great. And can you fast forward that a little bit so we can show that closure?
This is the complete glottic closure at 190 hertz, which is a higher pitch for you, and that's why you have a tiny posterior gap.
Wow, but pretty good closure.
Yes.
And they are pearly white.
Yes, they are. They look very good. Okay, here we go. Stick your tongue out at me. Good. Okay, go ahead and say E. There we go. Good. Go ahead and say E. There we go. Okay, try glottal fry. Okay. Do a hard glottal attack. E. Good. Do that again. Good. An easy onset. Try that again. Good. Do that again. Good. Do a high pitch. Good. Try it again. Good. Do a low pitch. Think E. There we go. Good. Do a slide from low to high. Let's do an octave. Good. Do it again. Good. Go he, he. Good. Clear your throat. Good job. Do another conversational pitch. Do straight tone. Do a higher pitch with vibrato. Straight tone. Good job.
Awesome.
Did I get everything?
Awe-inspiring. I knew I was going to have a trip to the vocalist, so I was drinking a lot of water to make sure that I got that pearly white vocal fold that you saw a little earlier. But I wanted to ask Amy if she would give us, as choir directors, some tips that we can help our singers with vocal health.
Yeah, we'll start with hydration. It's a common misperception of singers that when you drink water, it goes directly over the vocal folds to wash them off. If that were to happen, it would go towards your lungs and cause you to cough and choke. Instead, what happens, once you drink water, it takes several hours for it to be dispersed throughout your body at the cellular level and come back to the vocal folds at that cellular level.
So I can't hydrate 10 minutes before choir
Absolutely
rehearsal?
Not. You need to be hydrated all the time. When your vocal folds come together to vibrate, they do so very quickly, and that causes a lot of heat, friction, and resistance between the vocal folds. And if the tissues aren't properly hydrated, then that could cause some damage to the tissues. The basic rule of thumb for how much water one should get is to take your body weight, divide it by 2, and that's how many ounces of water you should get a day.
Okay.
Basically, singers pee pale. The saying comes from you want your urinary output to be pale to clear. Things that count for water besides water: Crystal Light, herbal decaffeinated tea, flavored waters, Powerade, and Gatorade. Juice doesn't count as water because it takes the amount of water in the juice to metabolize the sugar. For every caffeinated or alcoholic beverage you drink, you should add an extra glass of water because caffeine and alcohol are dehydrating.
Right. And there is that little thing about flying on an airplane plus alcohol and caffeine?
Right. One alcoholic beverage in the air counts as 2 on the ground, so it has more of a dehydrating effect. And for every hour in the air, you should drink 6 ounces of water.
Wow.
To
It's
keep your
really
vocals.
dry in those airplanes.
They have no or very little humidification in the circulating air.
So when we drink water, it doesn't affect the vocal folds because it doesn't pass over them.
Right.
But what about a gargle?
The gargle recipe we give to our patients is Dr. Gould's gargle recipe, who's a prominent ENT for singers who's passed away. And it includes, you need to inhale steam for 2 to 3 minutes before you do the gargle. And the gargle includes ½ teaspoon salt, which exfoliates and cleans the tissues, ½ teaspoon baking soda, which is an antimicrobial, antifungal, so it kills germs, ½ teaspoon clear Karo syrup, and 6 ounces of warm water. You mix it together, gargle, spit it out, and don't eat for 20 to 30 minutes after so that it will stick to the tissues.
Wow. So you keep this on hand, Dr. Gould's gargle, pretty much all the time.
Yeah, we suggest that you use it 2 to 3 times per day for 7 days.
And can you give us a little quick rundown of medications that might be good or bad for us?
Sure. A lot of medications, the over-the-counter sinus medications, can be drying, so we suggest you drink an extra glass of water to your minimal water intake. Aspirin is a blood thinner, so it can increase the risk of hemorrhaging the vocal fold.
Antihistamines, decongestants.
Antihistamines are drying, so you add an extra glass of water. Guaifenesin is suggested.
Mucinex
Yes.
is our friend.
Yes, that's right.
Mucinex is our friend.
That's right.
And anything else you can think of that would tell us as choral singers that we can help our choir directors?
Well, as far as throat clearing goes, when you clear a throat, you slam your vocal folds together and rub them real hard, and that can be really damaging to the vocal folds. No one has ever died from not throat clearing, so we suggest that when you feel like you're about to clear your throat, whether it's a scratchy or rawness sensation, that you try to do a hard swallow instead of clearing your throat, which is just pumping the back of your tongue real hard against the roof of your mouth as you swallow. And if you need water or liquid, you can use that as well.
And I have a choir singer that comes to me and says, I'm hoarse. How do I know when to send them to a vocalist or an ENT or a laryngologist?
You need to send them to an ENT if they're hoarse for 2 weeks.
So if they come the third week and they say, I'm still hoarse, they need to go to a doctor.
Yes.
And lastly, we've talked about antihistamines and all kinds of decongestants and water, but we haven't talked about GERD.
That's right.
Tell us about it.
There are 2 kinds of acid reflux. The first is more commercialized, gastroesophageal reflux disorder.
Can you say that again?
Gastroesophageal reflux disorder.
Very good.
And that causes the heartburn and indigestion that we see on commercials. The other kind is laryngopharyngeal reflux disorder, or LPRD, and that's when a little bit of stomach acid escapes from the esophagus up into the back part of the larynx and actually causes a low-grade tissue burn to the tissues.
It can also cause hoarseness.
Cause hoarseness, chronic throat clearing, a persistent cough, difficulty swallowing, and there's many symptoms.
Great. Thank you so much. I think we're going to be better choir directors for my having visited the vocalist. Thank you.
Thank you.